Hello everybody and welcome to Sunday Morning Knits. So today I have a podcast episode for you. I don't know what podcast episode this is because I have lost track. Sorry about that. I think it's 27, 26. Unclear. Oh, well, let me adjust my camera. I think that's a little bit better. Sorry about that. Okay, so I have not podcasted in like 6 weeks. Now, okay, that's not fully true. Actually, 2 weeks ago I recorded a podcast, but it was bad. And I was like, I can't publish this. So here we are again. And I have a lot of things to show you. Before we jump into that though, I want to say today is August 27th and the Selene socks are out now. You can find a link for them in the show notes down below, or you can find them on my Ravelry. And until September 3rd at midnight Mountain Standard Time, you can use the code Selene Socks 15 to get 15% off of your purchase. Today is also the 2-year podiversary of this channel, which is very exciting. I can't believe it's been 2 years. I can't believe so many of you watch my podcasts. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, this community is just so wonderful. And I'm happy to keep making videos. So thank you so much for your support. Okay, let's talk about finished objects. So I have 2 finished objects and 2 half finished objects. Okay, actually I have 4 finished objects. And I think I can show all of them to you, but I have to show one of them to you in black and white. So let's start with the ones that I can show you in color first. So in terms of knitting finished objects, so I'm looking this way because this is where they are. In terms of knitting finished objects, the first one that I can show you is underneath everything, of course. And that is my Artemis Cloak. So I'll put photos up. I realize I should also maybe be in black and white. So this is probably in black and white already, because editing Laura knows computer magic. I realized that this color hasn't been announced yet, so I'll put in some b-roll or a photo of this cloak or something like that. But this is a little cloak with the cutest hood on the planet. And it has a little tie channel for either a ribbon, or you can omit this and do a clasp instead. And this is a collaboration with Lauren of Little Fibre Co, who I love so much. This is using her BFL DK, and she has designed some very amazing colors for this that will be out in December. But I'm showing this to you now because there's a test call for this, so if you're interested in testing my Artemis Cloak, it comes in 3 sizes based on the circumference of your neck. You can find more information in the show notes down below. There's a link for you to apply to test knit this. I'll be closing that fairly soon, so it depends on when you're watching this. But I think I'll leave it open at least until August 30th. So 3 more days. So yeah, that is the Artemis Cloak, and I love it. Oh, please ignore the fact that there's a stitch marker right here holding a dropped stitch in, because I haven't fixed that yet. So yeah, that is the Artemis Cloak. I finally finished that. I've been working on this for a long time. So it feels nice to get that off my needles, and I'm so excited to wear it for fall. It's gonna be like the coziest thing ever. I'm already wearing it. I reach for it when I'm sitting at my desk because it's a little bit cold in my room, which I love. But sometimes when I haven't like moved in a few hours, I'm cold and I just sit there and reach over and I grab my little cloak, and then I'm all nice and warm. And it's just so wonderful. I want to wear this 24/7 right now, but unfortunately it's very warm where I live. I'm not in Los Angeles anymore. I'm actually back in Canada, but we're going through a heat wave, so I can't wear my cloak, which is a little sad, but alas, I know the time will come for cloak wearing season, so I'm not worried. But if you're interested in testing this, please do check out that link below, or send me an email. My email is also in the show notes, and we can make that happen. There's also partial yarn support from Little Fibre Co for this test. She's offering a discount on this base, and you'll get a sneak peek at the colors that, pardon me, I have the hiccups, that she has designed as well for this pattern release. Okay, enough about this. Let's show you the other thing that has to be done in black and white while we're at it. I am so excited. I've posted about this a little bit on social media already, but I have designed a shawl, whoops, for Paisley Knits for a fade, and that's all I'm going to tell you, but this is it, and I love it so much. More information will obviously be coming about this in the coming days. This will be coming out mid-October. Yeah, and it is a collaboration with Coley of Paisley Knits, so I love this so much. I also reach for this when I'm sitting here at my desk, because it's so soft and like the textures are so lovely. There's like a whole bunch of different texture patterns. It's lace and cables. There's like a cable section down here and different types of moss stitch. I love it so much. I cannot wait to show you this in color, but it's going to be a little while before that happens. So this is also in testing now, and keep your eyes peeled on both mine and Coley's Instagram for more information about this as it gets closer to November and December. Okay, we can snap out of black and white now. The other two finished objects that I have are spinning finished objects. So the first one is a handspun yarn that I have been working on forever. Sorry, let me stretch it out a little bit. Here we go. This is the Little Fibre Co countdown from last year. The theme was patisserie, and the colors were these beautiful pinks and purples and browns, and this was on her Targi base. It has taken me quite a while to work on this. This is 8 ounces, and I spun this as a fractal. No, that's not true. This is not a fractal. It is a 3-ply. It's about a DK weight. This is the most consistent yarn I've ever spun, and I'm so proud of myself for that. It's about a DK weight, and I split each of the 8 colorways into 17 little tiny balls, and I pulled them at random for each of the plies. So it's a just like random mix. This was inspired by someone whose name I am forgetting, so I'm gonna pop her version on the screen here. Lauren shared this on Instagram, and at that time I was undecided on how I wanted to spin this, and I was like, that is how I'm going to spin it. That is absolutely how I'm going to spin it. I love that. So yeah, I love this. The reason it's not in a hank is because I have lost part of my nitty knotty. And so when I wound this, I did it on my Swift, and I didn't quite make it long enough to actually fit 8 ounces in a skein properly. So this is, well, I guess that's not horrible. That's better than I did last time. So this is what it comes out looking like, and I just love it so much. I think I'm gonna do a sweater with this, and I'm gonna stripe it with a cream yarn, and I think that'd be so cute. Like, basically like a stripe hype, but just with this as the stripes. Or maybe a sibling sweater by Laura Penrose. Or maybe I'll make my own pattern. Who knows? But I love this. I'm so proud of this. Definitely my most consistent yarn yet. And it's been amazing. You can actually see I finally have my wheel back. It's right here behind me. My dad stained it the most beautiful like espresso color ever, and I just adore it. I currently have a spin on there that I'll talk about later. But I have another finished spin, and that is this guy. So this is something new that I started when I moved back home. I became part of the Longway Homestead breed study. So once a month, she sends a different breed of sheep yarn, sheep fiber. There's a yarn version and a fiber version, but I'm doing the fiber version. That is grown in Canada, which I thought was really cool because I haven't really, well, I've never spun fiber grown in Canada, and I have knit with Canadian fiber, but not a ton. So I really wanted to give that a try, and it was actually surprisingly challenging to spin this. I think it was worsted prep, and I chose to, no, sorry, this was woolen prep, and I chose to spin it worsted style. If that doesn't mean anything to you, don't worry about it. That just means it was a little bit challenging, and my yarn is a little bit uneven, and there are some places where it's spun more than others, but that's okay. This was a learning process. I highly recommend the Breed Study. Each month when you get your little, whoops, I'm reaching for something. You get your fiber. You also get this cool little card that tells you all about the breed of the month. And then there's more information on the back about the wool and that kind of thing. So this is the Shetland. It's a natural color, so this is not dyed or anything like that. And then this was the little card that came with it. And it gave me all the information about where Shetland comes from, staple length, fiber diameter, crimp, stuff like that. I thought that was so cool. I have never worked with Shetland before, and my association with Shetland was that it was super scratchy, because it's like really common in like Fair's Isle and colorwork and stuff like that. I think of like Jameson's yarn and stuff when I think of Shetland. So I associated it with being very scratchy, but this is actually really soft. I really like it. I think I'm gonna make mittens with this and have some nice super warm mittens for the winter. I think that'll be really cool. So yeah, that is my Breed Study. Highly recommend along my homestead. I already have August's. I mean, obviously it's the end of the month, but August came really fast, and I wasn't even done July's. This is July's when August came. So I kind of powered through July's, and I have not started August. And that's because I started something else, but we'll talk about that in a bit. I have two half-finished objects to share. The first is the second. This is really embarrassing, actually. This sock is, oops, I don't have any of the ends tied in or woven in, so anyway, other than that, you might recognize this as my Achilles sock that I released in like January. I finished one and I had this half done and I just never finished it. So I finally finished my second Achilles sock. If you're interested, this pattern is available on my website and my Ravelry. It has this beautiful, you can't really see it, but because it's on my blocker, but there's like a leaf lace pattern down the front and then this like beautiful cable down the back. And I knit this in Paisley Knits yarn because obviously I love everything she does. This was her book club colorway and the colorway inspired by Song of Achilles. So that's why I actually designed the Achilles and the Patroclus socks for that collection release in collaboration with her. And so I finally finished my second Achilles sock. That one's really embarrassing, but I'm glad that I'm finally done that one. Now the last half-finished object that I have, I finished it last night, and that is this sock. This is just a fairly basic 2x2 rib sock, and it's gigantic. It's a men's sock. This is actually a very belated birthday gift from my father. And the cool thing about this sock is that I hand spun the yarn. So this yarn, here, I can show it to you. Oh, it is attached to a sock on my desk. This yarn was the wood ash colorway from, I believe it was March's club from the Shopla Mercery Fiber Club. And it is 100% Corriedale, I believe. I don't know. This was the first hand spun yarn that I made that was like good enough to make something with, you know? And my dad had a monumental birthday a couple months ago, and he loves socks. He loves when I make him socks or when I knit him, well, I knit him a hat last Christmas, but he loves socks. So I thought I would make him some hand spun socks. So I finished the first one last night. These have been on my needles since June. And I'm chugging along on the second one, but I have kind of injured my wrists from over knitting, so I'm taking it very easy. But yeah, that's my last half finished object. And that is it for finished objects. So let's talk about works in progress. I have a whole bunch. Let's talk about other people's designs that I'm knitting, and then I'll talk about my designs, and then I'll talk about spinning works in progress. I think that would work out well. So in terms of other people's designs, the first one that I have been working on is the fuzziest sweater of my dreams. Ta-da! Okay, so this is an impulse cast on. I finished my, let me undo this. I finished my Artemis Cloak. And then I texted my cousin and I was like, I want to cast on like 800 sweaters. And she was like, do it. So I casted on one. And that is this one. This is the Sammal sweater. I can't remember the designer, but I'll put it down in the show notes. It is a quarter zip sweater knit in bulky weight boucle yarn. The yarn that I'm using is the Teddy Boucle from Coley of Paisley Knits. This was from her book club pre-order that she did in January of this year, and this is the colorway Fatal Flaw, which was inspired by The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I am a total dark academia girly. I have 2 classics degrees and a degree in Indo-European linguistics. Dark academia has my heart, and I could not resist a colorway inspired by The Secret History. I'm actually working on the corresponding Secret History socks right now. I'm almost done knitting a pair of socks for all of the book club colorways from last year from Coley's book club. And I'm working on the Secret History one right now, which goes so perfectly with my massive boucle 3/4 zip. Now, if you've been a long time watcher of the podcast, you're probably like, Laura, a year and a half ago, you knit a hot water bottle cover in boucle, and you hated it so much, you swore to God you would never knit anything with boucle ever again. You would be correct. I historically have hated boucle. When I saw this come out, I was really hesitant, but it looked so cozy. So I took a risk and I was like, I'm gonna order a sweater quantity of this boucle. I might hate every moment of knitting that sweater, but I really, really, really want that sweater. And to be completely honest, this has been a great experience. I am not having the same struggles with this boucle as I did with the last boucle that I used. The last boucle that I knit with was a DK weight, but it was quite fine. Like, it was actually probably closer to sport or fingering. And it was just a nightmare to work with. My needles kept getting lost. I couldn't see my stitches. I was picking up the loops of the boucle rather than the stitches. It was awful. But I can actually still see my stitches with this. I mean, it's maybe not the clearest, but like you can still see that. And I don't find that I'm picking up the loops of the boucle. Like, I'm still picking up my stitches, no problem. And I think it's just gonna be the coziest sweater of my dreams. And I need this heat wave to end so that I can finish this and wear this 24/7 and never take it off. I have the corresponding non-boucle yarn that I'm going to do the cuffs in, and I'm very excited for that. I think it'll be great. So yeah, I think that's everything about this guy. Oh, this one is knit on US size 10 needles, and it's wonderful. And it's going to be gigantic and oversized and the fuzzy boucle sweater of my dreams. So I cannot wait. Okay, that is the first sweater that I have been working on. The last time I filmed, the episode that I didn't publish, I only had like the back panel done, and I'd started it the day before. Like, this sweater is knitting up so fast. It's kind of unbelievable. But I guess that's what you get for knitting with super bulky boucle on US size 10 needles. So I guess it makes sense. Oh yeah, okay. So the next one that I'm working on is this guy. If you are a longtime watcher, have probably seen this before, because this has been on my needles for quite a while now. This is just my like nice easy stockinette project that I pick up every once in a while. It is the late checkout sweater by Cozycore, and I'm knitting this with Knit Picks Simply wool in the colorway Wilhelmina in the worsted weight. There's a worsted and an Aran, and this is the worsted one. I love this. It's gonna be another like oversized sweater of my dreams, and I just love the like super dusty brown color. I think it's gonna suit me very well. It's kind of similar actually to my hair color. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but I really love this. I have been dreaming about a sweater like this for so long because I wanted to knit a very plain pullover, and I want to felt and make little bunny opal patches. And I've been thinking about this since I made the little bunny patch for Melody Hoffman last year. I test knit it for her. I was like, I need to turn these into elbow patches on a sweater. So that is what I'm working towards on this. And I'm so excited. This sweater is also knitting up insanely fast. This is also a very easy sweater. So if you're a beginner knitter and you want to try sweater knitting, this is a great pattern. Highly recommend. There's not a lot of like complicated increasing, decreasing, nothing like that. So highly recommend. Cozycore late checkout sweater, Knit Picks Simply wool. It's an amazing combination. I have already knit several sweaters out of this yarn, not this colorway, but this yarn, and I love them to death. So I know that I'm going to love this one as well. This one is knit on US size 8 needles, I think. I don't quite remember. I'm doing a cuff right now, so I have them on like teeny tiny DPNs. So I don't remember what the actual needle size is, but anyway, you can find it in the pattern. It's a lovely pattern, highly recommend. Cozycore is such a wonderful designer, and I love her patterns. I actually think this is the first pattern by Cozycore I've ever made, which is a little bit wild, but I now have, and I guess I'll talk about this now. I got her newest book, Knits to Wear. This is an early birthday gift from my parents. So I guess I have an excuse to make a lot more Cozycore patterns coming up here, which I'm very excited about. This book is beautiful, by the way. I highly recommend it. I think her patterns are just stunning. Like, look at this. First one that I opened to. Look how beautiful this cardigan is. Like, I hope someday I can write a knitting book as beautiful as this. That is my dream. Okay, what next? Oh yes, okay, this one is a very special project. I am knitting my brother a Christmas sweater, Christmas present sweater. Sweater is a Christmas present. I've been promising him a sweater for a while, and I was going to make him something different, but we decided earlier on this year that it wasn't going to work. And I've had the idea to make him this specific sweater for quite a while now. The last time I tried to film this, he was like in the room beside me and like in the hallway, and I was trying to talk about it and him not hear it, and I may have accidentally spoiled it, but oh well. I still think he doesn't know what this is. We'll see. Anyway, I was watching Handmade by Florence, and she was talking about how Dale of Norway releases the patterns for all of their ski sweaters every time they make a pattern. If you're unfamiliar, Dale of Norway makes patterns for the ski teams every time there's like an Olympics or a World Series or something like that. They make sweaters for the ski team. And the city that my brother and I grew up in held the Olympics long before we were born, but they did hold an Olympics, and my brother is a huge skier. So I went to the website and I tried to see if they had a knitting pattern available for the year of the Olympics in the city that we were born, and they did. The tricky thing about it was like it's out of print, so I did a lot of hunting down for this pattern. Found it in Norwegian. I can read Norwegian, however, I've never read a Norwegian knitting pattern. Luckily, I eventually found it in English. So I am making my brother the ski sweater for the year our city held the Olympics, and I'm very, very excited. It's color work. It's 2-color color work, which I'm totally fine with. It also has this cool, like, it's kind of like, I think of it as like bias tape, but it's this like embroidered tape that kind of goes around the neck. It's not a quarter zip. There's no zipper, but it's like split, and then there's like a clasp instead. And then there's this really cool like embroidered bias tape that goes along the edge. And I was able to source the original bias tape and clasp, so it's going to be as close to the original as possible, which I am so happy about. The only thing I'm worried about is that it's steeked, and I've never steeked anything before, so this is going to be an adventure. Come with me on my Laura Learns How to Steek adventure. Maybe I'll make a vlog about it. But right now I'm just doing the bottom ribbing. There's like 8 centimeters of ribbing, so I have a ton to do. Oh, I'll talk about this cute little stitch marker actually. This is from, oh, what is her Instagram? I think it's Little Bitty Designs. She's so lovely. She's tested some of my socks for me before, and I love her so much, but I'm just drawing a blank on her Instagram. But yes, this is, I'll put her name just on screen below. She's lovely. Her stitch markers are the cutest things ever. And I just have this on here to remind me which is the outside and which is the inside. I don't like knitting bottom up at all. And I didn't realize the sweater was bottom up until I was like hilariously far through the pattern. I was like, what am I doing? And then it clicked. I was like, oh, this is the bottom ribbing. That's why there's 8 centimeters of it. I thought it was top down. In my defense, the pattern doesn't say. There are very, very minimal instructions for this sweater. So I'm a little bit worried about that. We'll see how that goes. But I will hopefully be done that by Christmas, because I promised this sweater to my brother last Christmas. He got something else instead. So my goal is to finish it this year. What else is around me that I'm working on? I'm working on the second sock for my dad, which I already talked about, so I'm not going to talk about that again. Oh, yes. Patterns that I am designing now. Okay, I currently have a pattern in testing called the Petra scarf. This is a collab with the absolutely wonderful Eula of Woolen Twine, and it will be coming out late September, early October. And I am making a corresponding sock pattern. So it is this lovely scrunchy waffle stitch, and this is designed in Eula's Ovis sock base. It's this stunning 50% Jacobs, 50% Cheviot, and it will match perfectly with our Petra scarf. This one will be going into testing fairly soon, so if you're interested in testing it, please sign up for my newsletter. You will also get a little bit of a discount for any of my patterns on Ravelry if you sign up for my newsletter. But I always send out my test calls by my newsletter, as well as posting them on Instagram and stuff, but Instagram is fickle and doesn't always show everything that I post to all of my followers, so the best way to get test calls is to sign up for my newsletter. So yeah, Petra socks coming soon. I'm not sure when these will be released, but they'll be going into testing fairly soon. Okay, the last pattern that I'm currently working on designing is something that I kind of have had in mind. I've been like noodling on this for a while. I am using Camellia Fibre Co. Love Camellia Fingering Held Double for DK weight. And I am knitting this, it's going to be an oversized pullover with a set-in sleeve, and there is this little cable that goes all the way around the back neck, and it's going to go down both sides of a v-neck. Oops, can't really see. It's going to go down both sides of the v-neck, down like this, and then where they meet in the center, it's going to turn into a heart cable pattern. I am very excited. I have not actually designed a sweater pattern before. I've done like vests and stuff. So this is my first actual full-on sweater pattern, which I'm super happy about. And I just love how this yarn is working up. I think it's just gonna go so well with the heart theme. This probably won't come out till next year, probably like the fall of next year, particularly because I like to give as long of testing possible as long the longest testing period I possibly can. I don't know why that was so hard to say. Especially because I make sure that all my patterns are size inclusive and bigger patterns take longer to knit. So yeah, I'm very excited about this. I think the like cable around the back neck is going to be so cute. And then of course there'll be like ribbing for the neck, but I think that's just going to be so cute. And it like connects the shoulder and continues all the way down in a little V shape. So I'm so excited for this. I can't wait. This actually came to be because I was noodling around with that heart cable pattern for a pair of socks. So you may see that coming out at some point next year as well. Okay, in terms of spinning works in progress, I think I'm just going to talk about this one because this is the only one I've really worked on. This is a combination of Myrtle Yarn Co's specialty fiber, which I think is Shetland Tussa silk and something else, carded with 100% rambouillet. It's about 50-50. And I'm doing my very first sweater spin. So I did all the carding myself. I borrowed a drum carder from the drum carder from my spinning guild that was local when I lived in Los Angeles. And I carded all the fiber myself. It's in this massive bag. This is my LA Yarn Crawl 2025 bag. I have all my fiber in here. And I'm doing my very first sweater spin, and I'm so excited. I just hope that I have enough. I definitely have enough. I had enough fiber, but I ran out of steam carding it and then had to return the drum carder. So I think I have carded enough. I should be okay, but we'll see. I think my goal for this was a DK. I think it might come out DK worsted. It's not my most consistent spin. You can see there are some thicker spots and some thinner spots, but that's fine. It's hand spun. It's supposed to be like that. And I'm on my second bobbin. I'm spinning this on my EEW because my bobbins hold more than my spinning wheel bobbins do. My spinning wheel bobbins hold about 4 ounces. These hold 8, and I think I've put 6 ounces-ish on here. So yeah, that is my current spinning work in progress. I do have a spin on my spinning wheel, but I haven't really touched it in a little bit. Just because I've been focusing on this guy. So yeah, I think that's all of my works in progress. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention about this is it is woolen prepped, but I'm doing a worsted spin. I did some test spins, and that's what I liked the most out of all the test spins that I did, because I did worsted prep, worsted spun, worsted prep, woolen spun, so like from the fold, woolen prep, woolen spun, woolen prep, worsted spun, and I liked the woolen prep worsted spun the most, so that's what we're doing. And I hope I can make a sweater. We'll see what kind of sweater. It might be like a doppio. Which is totally fine because I love that pattern. I might have to hold it with like a mohair or something, depending on the gauge and how much I have. We'll see. So yeah. In terms of acquisitions, I have 2, but I don't actually know where they are. This is the fiber that I'm spinning for my sweater spin. I have my August Long Way Homestead fiber, which I'm not going to talk about in case you haven't received yours yet. Oh, my other one, actually, I think is right here. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, yeah, it is. Nope. Okay, well, now I have to get it. I am part of Sunday Fiber Co.'s Lonely Socks Yarn Club. So each month I get a sock set inspired by some Beatles songs. I wasn't gonna do a sock club this year, and then she released this and I was like, oh, I have to. This month the colorways are Yellow Submarine and Lovely Rita. Here they are. And I think they're so cute. Look at that. This is so far outside of my comfort zone for socks. I can't wait to knit with this. I can't wait to see what it looks like. This is really pushing my comfort zone for colors. So I'm very happy. I can't wait. Yeah, this has been such a fun club so far. I haven't used any of the colorways, so I'm very excited. That'll be my 2026 project, I think. Other than that, I think that's everything I had to share. Thank you so much if you've made it this far in the video. I really appreciate it. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so that you can get more videos just like this. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciated it. You are wonderful. I hope you have a lovely long weekend and happy knitting. Bye!